All right, Shalom Hakim. Just want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakadash, that most apostles, the millstone who will unteachable, peaceable, so I can push in this truth around the globe. Shalom. I just got a quick hit going into the Great Reset, because if you're following prophecy, here on this platform, YouTube, on down to the unicorn, the internet, you should be advised that that the Great Reset is on its way. So I'm gonna get these quick precepts, and I'm gonna hop right into it. This is 2 9. And it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, right? So you got a lot of prophecies, to keep up with, so, you got the MOTB, you got the, at the MOTB, you got the wars and rumors of wars, but the MOTB is what we're really focused on. You got the other countries, you know, um, locking down their cities, with cautious measures, you know, whether it's on up to like Salakia, blackouts to on down to the chip, mandating certain lockdowns, mandating certain chips, where you can buy and sell, certain things, without having a device, if you know what I mean. But and then I'm gonna get verse 3. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and upwards of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before the even from the beginning, right? So that if you go into Matthew the 24th chapter, you will see that that the prophecies are coming to pass. Also, second as the 15th chapter, you got China, you got China, you got Russia, and you got Brazil. I've watched a couple of videos early on today, going into how Brazil is locking down their cities due to, the Great Reset that's on its way coming, So we should be on the lookout, if you have the time, just, you can do your research. I don't have anything pulled up right now, but, I will in the future, I will later on, my videos, but I just want to hop right into this quick hit, just to let you know that the Great Reset is on its way and what to look out for and what to, what to be expecting, and I'm going to read this verse 5. It says, for like it's all that is made in the world that hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder, and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And one of those effects, endings and effects and signs is that great wonder, that great wonder, those great wonders that Esau is doing right now. The elect, the hopeful elect, we know what's going on in the world. We know that we can't be moved by what we see. We're not going to go and take that chip. We're not going to go and take that chip. We're not going to go and take these shots, these these devices. We're not ignorant to Satan's devices. We're not going to go and take these shots, these tests, on the body, to see, if you're if you got anything like a disease or anything. No, we're not gonna take these things, because these things will get you deleted, ultimately, you know. And I'm gonna read I'm gonna jump down to verse 8. It says, shall be preserved from the said period. Well, I'm gonna read verse 7. It says, and everyone that shall be saved in the truth, and shall be able to escape by his works, and by faith whereby we have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Right. You know, so we're going to be the elect, which, you gotta pray to be a part of the elect. You can't be proud and boastful, about, being in the truth, but we do have that confidence that we, are going to make it out, and, and see the salvation, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Right. So the Lord has us, we're not going to take these implantable devices, that's what we believe in. We're not going to take these devices. We're not going to have these chips in our inward parts. Like the scripture says in Leviticus. I'm not sure which chapter, but it does say not to put any markings in your flesh. And also in Revelation 13 and 16 chapter, it says, I'm gonna get that real quick. Good precept to get. I'm gonna get this Revelation 13:16. It says, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man might by himself say that he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right. So those that take these things are gonna prosper for a certain moment. That's what we not. That's what we don't want to be a part of. Because Esau Edom is crafty. He's the crafty man. That does these things. To entice you into getting. To get gain of you. And we don't want to be that. We don't want to be of that number. That 666 number. We don't want to be of that 2/3. Having that stigma in us. We want to have that mark of exemption. Spoken about in the Ezekiel. That mark of exemption, if I'm not mistaken. We want to be a part of the hopeful number, that 144,000, or the 1/3. The men, women, and children. That's what we want to be a part of. And I'm gonna get Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. At last, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he should be saved out of it. Right. So Jacob's trouble entails these things. These are the things that we should see that are coming, that are happening. Jacob's trouble is closer than we think. Sooner than we think. So we should see these things and take heed, instead of going with the flow. Not being a parrot in this truth. Not being a withering branch in its truth, but rather be a firm branch. Something that doesn't wither away. Even though we go off, we do commit certain sins that we regret. But the Lord told us that the Lord covered us with His blood. The Lord covered us with His blood. So you know. But we do fight to strive to keep these laws and commandments to the best of our ability, you know. You know, that's what we need to watch out for and take heed unto thyself that we may be saved, you know. You know, take heed to the doctrine that we saved ourselves and then to hear thee, you know. You know. So I'm gonna get Psalms, the chapter 37, starting at 1. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord, thy trust also in him. He shall bring it to pass, and he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgments as the noonday. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Right. And that's the so-called white man. That's Esau Edom. That bringeth these wicked devices to pass. You know. So the Lord told us to rest in the Lord, rest in him, you know, and follow him and believe and trust in him. And he will, you know, deliver us out of that, you know, out of whatever it is, you know, no matter what it is, he will deliver us from it. Just like he told us, you know, the Lord doesn't renege, you know, like Donald Trump. You know, he doesn't renege like the so-called white man. He doesn't do as the so-called white man, you know. The Lord is a man of his word, and the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, doesn't lie, you know. Spoken of in Numbers, the 23rd chapter, and the 19th verse, you know, if I'm not mistaken, you know. You know, and that's pretty much it. I just want to hop right into this. I just wanted to get the lesson in, you know, edify the hopeful elect. You know, with that, you know, I just want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Yahweh the most apostle of the most world, teach what peace blessed to the elect across the globe. Shalom.